Hello, my Stampin' friends. I was supposed to be going live on the card a day in November 2025 challenge, um, but I'm not sure if it's working. We're going to try. It says maybe it's working. Hello, fingers crossed this is working and you can actually see me on a card a day in November. If not, I apologize, but I think it might actually be working. Um, Connecting to groups is not my strong part. But anyway, my name is Candice Anderson. I am in Hiram, Utah. And thank you again for allowing me to share with you today. I am sorry it's so late. Things did not go as planned. But I know some of you are in other countries, so maybe it's a perfect time for you. If not, hopefully you can catch the replay. And we are going to get started. And I'm going to hopefully kind of make this short. I have pre-done a whole bunch of stuff for you, and I'm going to share the card first, and then I'll kind of show you some tips and tricks and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and get started here. So this is the card that I am sharing today. For anybody who's been following actually me, I'm participating in 2 different Christmas card challenges at the same time. And sometimes I have been able to combine them, and some I've had to get extremely creative to combine, and some of them I have just done 2 different cards. But this one I have done, it was a challenge, a layout challenge. I'm going to share it with you really quick. So this is the layout. It's a 30-day Christmas card making challenge. I believe the person is in England, I think. But there's been some really fun challenges, but this is kind of the layout that I was going for. So we're going to go back to here, and you can see I have the 2 little elements here, but I've done a little something different. So this one has a belly band. It's going to slide off, and I love this. Underneath it says no peeking. So you can see I had those 2 elements with the big one here. And then when we open it up, it has this little pocket where you can put cash or a gift card or whatever. So I'm going to show you how to create this cute, fun little card here. So a couple of things. We're going to start with our back piece here. The only bad part about this card is you can't get 2 out of 1. It basically, hang on one second here. Just gonna see if maybe, oh good, it looks like I am there. So anyway, oh hang on. I just closed something I wanted to on my other one. For some reason, it looks like I am on the challenge page, but for some reason I can't see comments. So I am opening it up on the other screen so I can reply to any comments, because for some reason I can't see it on this one, but that's okay. As long as everything's working, then I'm a happy camper. So what I was saying is you can't get 2 out of a piece of paper because this is 9.5 by 5 and a half. And you can take this other strip if you want to make this part, but I did a different color. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with scoring it, and we're going to start and score it at 3.25, and then I'm going to flip it around and I'm going to score it at 2 inches. And the color I am using is Summer Splash. I went with some kind of non-traditional colors. I have Poppy Parade, Summer Splash, and Pool Party. So we're just going to go ahead and use our bone folder to get those crisp. So you'll notice it it folds over, and you want it to do that. There's a reason for that. So we're going to grab out kind of our other pieces. Like I said, I've pre-done a bunch of this. This one I used which one is it? Sorry, I tried to have everything out. Forever Plaid. Um, and I've just pre-embossed that. But what I want to show you kind of right here is we are going to take our two different circle punches. You can do it with one punch. It just doesn't give us even a look. So this one right here, I'm going to use the 2-inch, and then I'm going to use the 1 3/4. So I want to start with the bigger one on here. And to try and get it kind of centered, I just went in and marked my 2 3/4 on here. And then I lined that one up and marked my 2 3/4 on here just to try and get it a little bit centered. And then I have my center marked already on my punch. So I'm going to punch that one out. I want to go a little bit bigger with that. Okay, so this one's going to go here, and then I'm going to kind of line that one back up where it's supposed to be, and I'm going to take the smaller one. I'll show you kind of the trick that I did. I line it up with where you can see where it should be, and then I just kind of pull it out about that 1/4 of an inch, or 1/8 of an inch, I guess is what it is. And then it's going to line up pretty close. Doesn't have to be perfect. So now we are going to attach this piece here. And then we're going to do a bit of stamping here. We'll start with this one. So I am using, it's a retired set. I don't have the new elf set, but I figured this one works for, I'm focusing more on the design and this. So I grabbed out this cute little elf set because our theme today is elf. And so we have the new no peeking. This is the one we're using, but we're going to use this little holiday hello in here. And we're going to grab our Poppy Parade. And so one thing to be aware of, I am using the new 3-banner punch. If you don't have this punch, I highly recommend it. I love a good banner punch, but I want this one, and I want it to go this direction. So I'm going to be punching it upside down, which means that the flag edge is this side. So I'm going to actually stamp my holiday hello upside down so that when I put it in to the punch, I have my flag going the correct direction. So just little tip there. Move stuff out of the way. And I've just done, I think this one is a 16th and then an 1/8 inch. I don't remember exactly. I just kind of wanted it to go behind, but this works out to about a 1/4 inch. So we're gonna glue that on there, and then I'm gonna set it aside for a minute so that can dry. And then let's see, this one is going to be our inside. So while I have my Poppy Parade out, I am going to stamp the little message on the inside here. And then we're going to stamp a bunch of snowflakes. So I am using the snowflakes from here, but I've also grabbed the snowflake from A Little Cheer. This is a current set here. And I'm going to use the Summer Splash. And we're just going to kind of do a few of them here. And this piece here, I will post all measurements on my blog. but it is 2.5, it looks like. Um, but I will put all the measurements on my blog. It's stampinwithcandice.com. And if you've seen anything else on the challenge, um, or on the yeah, the Christmas card challenges that you like of mine, most of them, not most of them, everything, I've been really good. All of the challenges are on my blog, and details and stuff are there, as well as everything to recreate, or where to buy them, and all of that kind of stuff. All the numbers. That's what I'm looking for. All right. So one other thing I want to show. Oh, we're going to stamp this one here too really quick. And okay, so this is this little outside panel here with the no peeking. Now on mine, I cut him out and added him later. This one I have pre-stamped him and colored him. And then if you have not tried our masking paper, I highly, highly, highly recommend this. Get some. If you go and watch my other videos, I have lots of ideas of how to use this. I did not think I would fall in love with this product as much as I have. And I didn't cut it real close. You can cut it closer if you want. I didn't really, it wasn't a big deal for me either way. And I think I stamped, did I stamp it on the wrong side? I may have. Yes, I did. So, okay, it is two sides here. One of them is sticky and one is not, and I stamped it on the wrong side. So we are going to hurry and re-stamp him. That would explain why he's smeared. If it smears, you know you stamped it on the wrong side. So we're going to hurry and cut him back out again, and I'll show you. Thankfully, he's a quick, easy one to cut. What I really like about this masking paper, though, is it has enough stick that you can really get it to stay in place, but it usually comes up pretty easy without ruining your project. If you saw my other one, oh, it wasn't for this one. I do have a video of how I did um, my buffalo plaid, and I used this masking paper to do it. Okay, so now we're just going to take this backing off, and we're going to put him right over here. And like I said, it's full stick, so it's going to cover up the whole thing. And I did not place that very well. So we can just lift them up. And some of them, when you cut them, they'll last for quite a few projects. So I've put them back on the sheet and kept them for other projects. So let's see if we can line that up a little bit better. There we go. That way, when I go to stamp, and I want to kind of stamp across, never mind, I'm stamping along the whole back. My other one I did across. But this way, even if I'm stamping over, I'm going to get full coverage and not stamp on my image. And I don't have to worry. It's also a great way if you want to take some of your image out and not use it all. Just something really handy to have in your stash. All right, I think we've stamped everything, and then we can just pull this up. And voila, we have all of the snowflakes around him without it interfering with our image. So move that aside. And the last thing we're going to do to all of these fun little pieces is, I don't know about you guys, but I love my blending brush. So we're going to grab our Pool Party. So it's just a little bit lighter here. And we're going to just add a little bit, especially when I'm doing snow. I just love how it adds to um, the thing. I could have left that on there so I didn't accidentally get color up into that one, but we're good. So we're just going to finish this, and then I will show you how to put this all together. All right, here. Sorry, I did try and do a whole bunch beforehand just to try and make this a little bit faster. Oh, I did want to show you a couple things on coloring, just some little tips and tricks. Um, okay, close these and move it out of the way. And one thing before I get started, I'm just gonna wipe this off. If you do a lot of blending, I recommend getting the glass mat. I really, really love the glass mat. I didn't think I would love it as much as I do, but I really love the glass mat. Okay, so one thing I want to kind of show you really quick. Where did my image go? Oh, right here. So my circles are just cut from the Stylish Shapes. Guys, if you don't have these, they're kind of an essential in my book. But I've colored most of him here. I want to show you a couple little tips and tricks. Now, we have all kinds of colors that you can get to do skin tones. I also love to use the petal pink, but I want to do kind of a little bit of a, like, I don't know, rosy cheeks. So I'm going to just kind of do a little bit of a circle. And I am using the Pretty in Pink Light. And I'm going to do just a kind of a little bit on the tip of his ears and the inside, and a little bit on his nose and mouth. I always start with my darker color. Um, and which end I use partly depends on what how big of a space I'm coloring in. If it's a really small space, I usually prefer to use the more tip one. And then with my lightest color, that's what I use to really kind of blend it. And you'll notice I'm kind of going in circles a little bit. Um, I find that going in circles with my top one, and I'm going right over the top of those darker colors that I put on. And it helps just blend that color a little bit. Now I'm going to switch, and this is my Poppy Parade. I love Poppy Parade for Christmas. It's kind of an orangey red, but I really, really love it for Christmas. And I'm going to use, so I'm working on a bigger section, so I'm going to use my brush end. And when you are coloring, um, the best way I like to tell people is look at light. I have a tendency to do the light coming in from this direction unless a stamp set is specific to something. So I tend to go a little bit darker here, and then I'll just catch the edge over on the other side. So that's just kind of some of my tips. Again, I always start with the darker one, and then I blend in the lighter color, and I typically go right over the top of the darker one to get that blend. Sometimes, remember, the blends do dry just a little bit lighter. So sometimes when you've colored your lighter color and you go in with your darker color, you go in with your lighter color and it will look darker. And that's just because it starts out darker but goes lighter. So don't be afraid that you've gotten the wrong one. All right, here we go. And then we are going to finish it off with probably my most used favorite product ever, Wink of Stella. And we're going to just add some to the top of the thing and his hat. And I went over the whole um, little, what is that called? ornament. Sorry. And we're going to add it to this. And then I'm going to make the bow sparkly too. Especially Christmas, but all the time. I love my Wink of Stella. It's probably my favorite go-to to add some sparkle. The other thing I did, oh, I just realized I forgot to stamp these guys. So I just stamped these ones with the bigger snowflake. So my white had the smaller, and then these ones had the bigger. And then something I like to do with this one, and I've done it on the specialty paper, which would also be really fun, the snowflake one, but I like to take my Wink of Stella and just add a little bit of sparkle to my snowflakes. So I'm just tracing the little snowflake lines, and I'll bring them up to the camera here in a second so you can see a little bit better. Like I said, I did try to pre-prepare a lot. All right, so maybe you can see the sparkle on there, kind of, sorta, and hopefully you can see it on this one a little bit better. And you can see that coloring. You can see the dark and the light, and it just kind of adds. I love the blends. I love to color. All right, so now we are ready to put this fun one together. So this one's going to go on our inside. So one thing to keep in mind, I didn't go all the way down, but you want to make sure that you go down far enough that when you cut this circle out, it's not going to see the background here. So you don't have to go all the way down, but you want to go most of the, well, part way. Again, I'll post the measurements on my blog if you want to make one. Now you're going to use our tear and tape to hold this part. Remember, we're making a pocket, so we don't want our adhesive. And I've just found that the tear and tape works the very best for this. So I'm just going to put some on each end here. And then I'm just going to press that down really, really good so that I can pull it off. And then on this part, we've got our little no peeking. And we're going to put that one right here. And then we are going to add these two. So one of them, I can put lots of adhesive on. This one here, I only want to put it on the top because I'm actually going to hang it down. So it's kind of giving that effect of the different layers there. All right, so this one, I did it just from an 8.5. So it is only 8.5. It so it's not going to wrap completely around. So what we want to do is we want it so that it's going to end behind here. You can do it longer if you want. I just didn't want to waste more of the paper. And I typically pull it kind of over to the edge here. I never pre-score. I've just found it's easier to wrap it around because your scoring doesn't, and even though it's 8.5, because of the thickness, it's not going to touch quite all the way. Then I'm going to pull this off here, and I'm going to use my bone folder, and I can line it right up on the edge so that I get a nice, good, even fold around it. And then I can put this back around here. The other thing, I am going to use the tear and tape for this as well because I want to make sure that it stays stuck or where it's supposed to be. All righty. Okay. So we are going to attach the rest of this here. So we're going to put this one here in the center. Then we're going to add this one. All right, so before I finish off this one, we have our little greeting, and I'm just going to trim this. And I'm going to add some ribbon back behind this, and I'm just going to tie a giant bow with my white baker's twine. That's a really big one. That's okay. So I want it to just kind of be a big floppy bow because I'm putting it actually behind my words, not in front. We'll turn that down in a second. And then, okay, we're going to go ahead and add him. And he does stick off of the thing. So we want to kind of just add some mini dimensionals. And I'm not going to go all the way up to the top or all the way down to the bottom because he kind of hangs over the image. I liked it being big and bold. I have a couple other samples that I made. I'll show you here in a second. So we're going to throw this one on here and line him up. The biggest thing is I want to make sure that if that's not straight, it bugged me. So we're going to add this one right in here. And so I'm going to add one of these here. And then I'm going to use my mini glue dots, and I am going to add one to the front and then one to the back of this bow so that it can kind of fit right in here. And then we're going to add a mini glue dot to this one here so that when I stick this over here, it kind of has something to stick to. And trim that down just a little bit. And there we go. There's our finished card. And when we slide this off, we get the little no peeking on the inside. Super cute. I'll show you my couple of other samples here really quick. Maybe slide that back on there. This was actually my first one that I made, and I used the little bit smaller one. Instead of doing the circles, I just stamped to give kind of that effect. You still slide off, get the little no peeking on the inside. So, and you'll notice this is a little bit smaller circle. Oh, I forgot one thing on this little guy. These are real red, but they still work really well with the Poppy Parade. And I just liked I love the little peppermints. And I'm going to put one up here. There we go. Finish that one off there. And then I did one. So the original one I made of this, I made at a Stampin' Up event, Queens of the Stamp Age. So shout out to whoever came up with it. But they just used designer series paper. This is the Need for Tweed designer series paper, which I thought was like, it had a lot of fun Christmas colors in it. And I used a different retired elf set, or Christmas Cuties is what this one was called, and did this one more traditional colors. And then when we slide it off, that's the inside. I did use a little cheer for my greetings on the inside on that. And these are from the Halloween I still love these, the shimmering stars. I really hope they keep these because I do love them. They're very fun and the colors work on a lot of things. So, um, anyway, there are my three different samples for you of that fun technique. I hope you enjoyed that and liked them. Again, give me a little bit, but I will get it all posted on my blog with the measurements and everything. Thank you again for joining me and bearing with me uh, as I had my multiple technical difficulties. I will get this group thing down eventually. I've been going to my page for a while now. That one's easy. Groups are a little bit harder, but hey, thanks again, Kevin, for letting me join you. And please, if you haven't done the challenges, start, whatever day you want to do and jump on and do the challenges. Lots of fun ideas. We're already to day 23. That's crazy. And I hope you enjoy and have a STEMtastic day. Thanks. Bye-bye.